Hello. That's probably too loud. I'll keep this down here.
My story is that I took one typing class at CCAC and I decided to stay 35 years.
Well, as you can see, I'm a non-traditional student. I'm 42 years old. I just went back to school in 2019.
I mostly went to community college to save money, but I also wanted to be in a smaller class environment and be more connected with not only my peers, but my professors especially, because I find it easier to directly communicate any possible needs, like for example, medical needs.
Actually, when I first started school was my mom's decision because I did classes when I was in high school. So my mom basically was like, why don't you take a couple of classes at CCAC? So I did. But after I took a couple of classes here, I was excited about being in college, and it was a really good financial decision to attend community college.
I had no intention of going to college. I got out of high school and I went to beauty school. I thought I would do hair, and I still have a thing for hair and makeup, but I didn't want to do it professionally. And then I kind of bounced around to different jobs. None of them were very satisfying. And so I thought, I'll learn to type. I went to community just because it was there and it was inexpensive and it was very convenient. But once I got there, I was given the confidence. I got the confidence to continue.
My wife was going through the school brochure because she had just graduated the previous summer. She saw this program and she told me about it, and I was like, wow, this looks really cool. Like, I know that I want to go back to school. I don't know if I'm capable of going back at this age. You know, I don't know how hard the curriculum's going to be, but I looked at it overall and I was like, well, I really need to change. And if I'm going to change, then I might as well do something that I'm going to enjoy until it's time to retire. I'm an equal opportunity student. So I got the community college grant to go back to school. Otherwise, I would have never been able to afford to go back to school. So that was my major decision in going to community college, was that, you know, I could get free tuition. But since then, the continuation to stay and be motivated really came from my successes.
I did experience the stigma at my high school quite a bit. Starting years, like, once again, they didn't really tell us anything about community college, which is why, like, I learned about it from an outside source. A lot of the students as well, like, they have this negative connotation with it, like, if you're going to community college, you're somehow lesser than, you're somehow stupid or less intelligent than the people who are going to a four-year school, which is not true. Not every single member of faculty acted on this stigma, though, I gotta say. I did have a lot of good, insightful conversations with many secretaries, a few teachers. I really hope that this can reach my high school one day. Like, oh, I guess our ratings as a blue ribbon school aren't going to go down at all if we suggest CCAC over a four-year. Because that's the whole thing. That's the whole thing behind it, is reputation. It's reputation. Like, our students went here and here and here after taking part in our curriculum at our high school. Does that mean they're successful? No, not necessarily. The school name doesn't necessarily mean anything, because think about the students themselves. Think about our drive. Think about what we're doing, not where we are, you know?
When I was in high school, a lot of my friends were like, oh, we can't wait to go to Clarion. Like, that was our thing, is after we graduated, we were going to go to Clarion because we all went to a family campground together. So that was kind of our big deal. And then when I started taking classes at CCAC, I'm just like, well, I kind of like it here. It's definitely affordable. I didn't have to take out any loans to come to CCAC, so that had a big impact. But a lot of my friends were not understanding of why I would go to a community college when Clarion was right up the street from us. So I definitely faced some negative stigma about attending a community college. But obviously my family was very accepting of it. The jobs I had in high school were very accepting of it, obviously because I was close to home and could continue working there.
There were people who would say, well, you're going to want to work at a four-year college at some point, or you're going to want to, you know, because, you know, I went from CCAC to La Roche College for my education. People would say that to me, and I would say, you know, the satisfaction for me is just not there.
I really think that stigma in a non-traditional sense is not really an issue. I think that stigma is more on the younger generation that's coming right out of high school.
I actually went to cyber school for high school, so everything was online, much like it is for a lot of things now. They were the ones that originally told me that I could do a dual enrollment program, so they were open to the idea about attending a community college. They didn't necessarily push us into a four-year university.
I did not and never remember anyone saying anything about community college. I didn't even know it was there until I kind of looked into it, and there it was. And I was like, oh, okay, here's an option. I didn't know that, you know?
Most of my major is afternoon and evening classes. So I'm still able to, maintain a part-time job and go to school full-time. I think the other major benefit is smaller class size. When you have a smaller class size, you get to know your professor a lot more. I mean, case in point, my professor, my college president, he and I are like this now. He recognized my potential first semester, and he gave me an internship, which unfortunately has not been able to continue because of COVID. But during the second semester, I was working in the lab with the rest of my classmates and helping them when they needed to catch up. And I was also, given assignments and different projects to work on to further my own education outside of the classroom.
Joining clubs, doing extracurricular activities in general, and just meeting new people in that way. Finding friends through similar interests and groups based around those interests. And even just like going to classes and conversing with people more. And just having a fresh start, a completely fresh slate. Not everyone is the same as me in that regard. Some people struggle with that fresh slate. And all I can say to that is it's going to be okay. You're going to find people, you're going to be welcomed.
The support you get at community is unmatched by any four-year school. Unmatched. You're at a four-year school, it's a bigger environment, and there's less opportunity to get a tutor, to kind of talk to your instructors. When you're at CCAC, even though we're a huge place, it feels small and you get to know people. And if you need help, people will just go crazy helping you. You don't get that at a four-year school. You really have to seek it out, and then you're going to make an appointment, and then you might get there, and then you are much more surrounded by help, and you really do have a better chance of being successful.
I had way more club and organization opportunities at a community college than I did at my four-year university. I keep in touch with a lot of people I came to school with when I was at a community college. Cannot say the same thing about my four-year university. So definitely the relationships you build with people is very beneficial.
I never would have guessed that I would be doing this well, but I am. And it's not because I'm at a four-year school. I'm honestly not done. I'm not done going up those stairs of achievement. I've just started. I'm sure people from my high school would have never guessed that Katherine Makowski would be the scary lady in a suit running a bunch of things for a college, but I'm very grateful for the fact that I've gotten to the point where I'm at. I'm very grateful for all the things that I've done for myself, and I'm very proud of all the things that I've achieved here. And I'm very excited for all the things that I'm going to keep on doing, and all the other achievements that I'm going to make going down the line, whether it be the rest of my time here or when I transfer.